Okay.
Okay, there's Jack back. Let's see if he can hear us. You
Yeah, good
can't?
now.
There we are.
Okay, that's great. So sorry to our live stream viewers. We had some technical difficulties with Zoom today. So I'd like to call this committee meeting of June 2nd to order. Are there any additions to the agenda this afternoon? Seeing none. Can I get a confirmation of the agenda, please? Moved by Merv. All those in favor? Excellent. Can I get an approval of the minutes of the Budget Committee meeting held on May 15th, 2020, please? Moved by Merv. All those in favor? And an approval of the minutes of the committee meeting held on May 20th, 2020. Can I get a mover, please? Moved by Brent. Were there any errors or omissions? Seeing none. All those in favor? Thank you. All right, Daryl. Take it away.
Well, you've seen my big report, and there's not much else going on. We're just doing our thing, and everything's going pretty decent. So we're working on, we're going to try and get all our hydrants flushed for the first time by the end of June. And we're going to possibly start taking down one of the sewage plants because we have a few leaks. So that's going to be the summer project.
All right. So you're making good use of your time.
Yep.
Everybody's feeling good in water and sewer?
Yep. Everybody's good.
Good. And thanks for opening the RV dumping station. Yep. That's good news. Did anybody have anything for Daryl? Nice to see that things are working as they should in this state of the world. Okay, thanks, Daryl.
Okay, thank you.
I see Jason has not logged on yet. He's not slated for another few minutes. Do you want to move on to fire?
Well, Dave's not here yet.
Okay, the chief's going to log in.
Okay.
If you see me bobbing around, I've got two computers on the go here.
So, don't we all?
That actually works perfect because Jason has some videos to show on Fourth Chute that have been sent to Macintosh Perry on a little bit of the water that's settled there. So I think he's going to take a little bit longer than the 15 minutes. So it actually works good if fire can go first.
Excellent. Also, Annette, when we get to the budget presentation, you know how to share screen, right?
Yeah.
So that our viewers can see the PowerPoint?
Yes, I'll share the screen so everyone will be able to hear everybody, but you'll all be looking just at the PowerPoint screen. We won't be able to see each other while we're presenting, so yeah.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Great.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting for the chief, I would just say that while we're going through the budget presentation, if you do have questions for Annette, if you could put your hand up, I'll try and get people as they go. If I don't see your hand, just shout out to me. There are a few things that we want to check on. Oh, Jason just logged in.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yes.
We understand that you have a bit longer presentation than we thought. Would you mind if the fire chief went before you?
That's fine.
Excellent. Okay. I think he's logging on right now.
Okay.
Shout out. He said he's trying to log on.
I'm trying to see too if they have the, you know how some of them have the raise hand function at the bottom? Have that
Yes, they should.
Isn't in the top right of your screen? At least mine is.
Mine's at the bottom under reactions.
Okay, because if while we're doing the PowerPoint presentation, if you did use that too, I would be able to see that. I don't know if everyone can see that, but I would be able to call attention to it.
Excellent. Good news. Okay.
A reaction?
I'll test it out. Can everybody see that? Or just me?
No, I can't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Oh
can
yeah,
see
I got a
Oh,
got
there's,
it?
I got a thumbs up. There we go. What do you if you
I can put my hand up. There's Brent putting his hand up
okay.
and Tim.
Okay.
Sandra's having a good laugh at this.
So I don't know. Merv, did you put yours up?
Yes, I've clicked it twice and
Oh,
There
there
it
it is.
is.
Oh, you're clapping.
it goes.
Perfect. Oh, there is the chief. So
All right.
I don't know if I can see them when my screen is off, but I'm feeling like maybe it would give me a signal. So
All right. The chief is on Dateline, apparently. He's the witness in a homicide.
Oh, the lighting's not very good here, is it?
No.
No. I don't know what to do about that.
Is your desk lamp on?
Yeah,
Oh, there, you're a bit brighter there.
okay. There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself because we have a lot of stuff going on in the basement right now and it's right below me. But I'll let the chief take us through his report and then I'll come back for questions.
Okay. As you can see by the call for service count, we are trending lower than we were last year. We've had lots of success with our messaging as far as our burn ban situation, and pleased to report that very, very few calls of concern went out to us as far as people burning outside of the bylaw right now, and people are enjoying their campfires, and I haven't really had any complaints or very few phone calls at all about getting burn permits. So people are being patient. I would like to get towards the removal of the provincial orders before we even start and see the numbers come down before we alter our ban status right now. I know there's a lot of cottagers up, and we can't control obviously the people that come up to their cottage. They want to come up and enjoy their cottage, but we don't know what they bring with them, and I'd prefer not to be going out on running and chasing illegal fires for no reason right now. So that's the reason that we're staying at a level 1 and not actually dropping the ban altogether. So what else do I have here? Okay, so I've got one thing that I wanted to tell council is that our small fire ban signs are in at TFC Signs. So I'll be picking them up tomorrow, probably at lunchtime, and bringing them back. And I think what we'll do is disperse some maybe around the seasonal areas, the cottage areas. But they did finally come in. There was a big delay because of the COVID and people not being able to work at the company. And then the company had a fire when they were planning on doing our signs. So they had to recover from that as well. So there was a bit of a delay there. We were successful as a department to finally get 2 of our members enrolled in the Ontario Fire College for the drone ground school training. So, excuse me, it's a very difficult course to get into. And so I do have 2 people that are officially enrolled, but of course classes have all been postponed. So we're in the queue for when the Ontario Fire College is back up and running to send 2 people, which I'm happy about, because we do have, as we know from last year, we do have plans on having a drone program within the department. So that'll give us 3 people right off the hop that will be certified to be able to fly them, which is good. So also got an email from the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs in conjunction with Ministry of Labor regarding training. And I know we like everybody else is suspended actual physical practical training right now. We are well within what they're looking for as far as the Ministry of Labor, as far as their best practices right now. They're saying that we can have 5 people, but to be able to develop a practical training program for 5 people at a time at this point is it can be kind of difficult, logistically difficult. So the online theory training is going well still. We are managing to still do a little bit of pumper training, filling up the reservoir up in Foymount. So we're doing little bits and pieces here and there, staying physically distanced. But as far as rolling out our practical training program, we're going to wait for a little bit and just see how things trend moving forward in the next couple of months. And I think that's pretty much all I have that's new. We're in a status quo type position right now with pretty much everything on the department. Nothing has really changed because of the restrictions that have been placed on, on employees. So yeah, there's really another attachment that I did send, and I'm assuming that you all got the attachment, was just a message from the OFMEM regarding hand sanitizer.
It
And
went under correspondence. I'm sorry to interrupt. It went under correspondence instead of
Oh,
under report. So everybody's seen it, but yes,
okay.
I apologize for that. It went under a different section.
Okay, so it's just general information. I know a lot of fake false news has gone out about it. Actually, hand sanitizer in hot vehicles catch self-combusting. That doesn't happen. So they wanted to put that out there just to appease the public that there isn't a danger having a bottle of hand sanitizer in your vehicle. It's actually one of the best places to have it because we're in and out of our vehicles so often. So that was all it was, just for information.
All right, thanks, Chief. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the fire report?
If I can add one thing, sorry. Fireworks. Caleb is right now doing an order for fireworks. He finally was able to get the paperwork and the documentation. One thing that we did have a question, because they do ask for shoot dates, and they want a shoot date and they want an alternate. So we're having a hard time figuring out what dates we should put down. He's gonna look into see if they can be altered down the road if we do change our mind. But I was wondering if there's any suggestions from council as to what dates we should put on the application.
Wasn't our first thought's Labor Day weekend as one day?
I think Labor Day is too late, Merv.
Okay.
Because people will, we batted around maybe the August long weekend, that Saturday as a first date. And then if that didn't work out, then maybe a Saturday closer to the end of August. But we want to have the people that are seasonal be able to enjoy it. So I'd really prefer not to have it on Labor Day weekend when people are packing up to leave,
Okay, I think that's reasonable. If you have to put down a couple of dates, we're just waiting to hear if all the parties in the legislature are going to agree to the extension of the emergency until June 30th. So that obviously takes Canada Day out of the mix. So if you're thinking maybe the August long weekend, I think that sounds reasonable. What does council think? Can I get a thumbs up?
I was just going to
Go ahead,
say,
Brent.
yeah, I was just going to say, like, really, it's depending. July 1st, obviously, is our preference, but that's always been in the air. Then I guess the August long weekend would be the second choice. And third choice, I guess, either put it on the same weekend as Taste of the Valley, because that's still up in the air, everything as well. But that's probably my recommendation, those, I guess, 3 dates. And if we have to postpone it again, I guess put it the same as the opening for McCrae's Park. I don't know.
My question is there any penalty if we don't set them up?
That's what we're looking into. So we can't hang on to them indefinitely. So I think we should fire them off this year. We just need to find a reasonable night to do it. And even if we don't put it in conjunction with something else, we could just have a plain old Saturday evening, advertise it, put it, as long as we're able to do it, advertise it, get it out there and get people kind of excited about having something. I don't think it needs to be on a special weekend myself. And most long weekends, people are busy traveling and doing whatever anyway, right? So I don't know. Well, we can put a couple of dates. I'll put the August long weekend as number one. And if that doesn't fly, then maybe we'll just pick a Saturday towards the end of August, and we'll just, if that works, then we can and the restrictions are removed, we can advertise it and sort of be our, I don't know what you want to call it, but we could do that in conjunction with maybe some other activities that day. Just to make it, make it enjoyable for the ratepayers.
Yeah, there's almost a holiday every day, or most days in August. Like if you look them up online, there's, International Beer Day, there's Book Lovers Day, there's many different days. There's a Dog Appreciation Day. So we can pick multiple days. So there's all kinds of things that, like you said, it doesn't have to be a special day, but if there is a Saturday with that, maybe, I don't know.
Have a big dog show.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, and let's remember, the spectators could physically distance by staying in their vehicles. I think the village would be packed, but you could watch them from a lot of different locations. It's about whether or not the firefighters are safe, firing them off and being diligent in physically distancing. Or do you just wear your SCBAs for the whole thing?
No, well, I think we do a lot of them electronically now. So it's a matter of adding to that. There are some of the bigger stuff that isn't electronic, but some of the smaller stuff isn't electronic because there's so much of a quantity, like 2-inch shells. We have a lot of them, and it doesn't, we don't have the capability to actually electronically fire all of them. So I think what Caleb has done is he's done the bigger stuff as electronic. But that's one thing that at least we have the benefit of that. We're not actually physically lighting all of them and requiring a big team to do that, right?
Right.
So
Tim, go ahead, and then Brent.
Yeah, June 30th is the date where we're postponed to right now, right? So can we still hustle a show for Canada Day? Shall things move ahead? Even a small show, I think at this time would be good for July 1st than anything, right? Like, is there really anything stopping us, like you said, Jen, to, people could stay in their cars or stay apart. You don't have to all sit on top of one another's knee to watch fireworks. You can be, from my place, I can see fireworks here, so.
But everyone else has canceled around us, including Ottawa. So would we draw a crowd? If we were the only ones in Renfrew County,
Yeah,
would we draw a
I would
crowd?
say so.
And would that become problematic?
I think it'd be fine.
Brent, go ahead.
Oh, I actually agree with everything Tim just said. I was going to say the same point. Is if I would like for us to focus on the July 1st, and I understand no one's doing it, and you know what, people have been sitting in their vehicles, parking on the side of the roads and stuff, keep their distance like they're supposed to. But I don't know. I don't see any reason why not. I think.
I just thought of something though. How long does it take for Caleb to get the fireworks in?
I think about 4 to 6 weeks, maybe less. I'll have to ask him. No,
Okay.
Right now, because of them coming from China, and a lot of celebrations have been canceled. The company may be able to deliver them a little bit faster just because of the cancellations. They did have a delay of their product coming back, but
Maybe
The
we
other
should
thought-
get an answer on that.
The other thought I had is, when is the bridge going to be under construction? I could see them lining up shoulder to shoulder on the bridge. When are we taking the bridge out of service? Any idea?
No, because our RFPs haven't gone out.
But
Go ahead, Tim.
I just wanted to say something. There was, if everybody was on any kind of social media last Friday, with what was happening at our neighbors there, and on the 29th when it reopened, there's people coming in from all over in our little area regardless. Even like when the Reds reopened, it was an hour and a half, right, to get in. So I'm sure there's really no more of a risk for us to have a few fireworks than there is for the neighbors to have their doors open too, right? So.
Now,
Well, so if the chief could maybe find out what the lead time is, we would be better equipped to make a decision on this. I don't know if that's something you can find out this afternoon.
I will, yeah.
Okay, that would be wonderful. And if you want to log back in when you have an answer,
Okay.
even if it's at our council meeting this evening, that I think that would give us a better idea of dates. I
Okay.
would listen. I've said all along, Canada Day is Canada Day. It's July the 1st, and that's the day that we should be doing them. And if there's a safe way to do them without our firefighters in peril because they're not able to properly physically distance, but if there's a way that they could do them with us leading by example, I would love to see them done on the 1st. I was just going with the, everybody's canceled. The other question I had was, did Caleb give you an indication of, you were talking about the budget and you can only have so many tubes.
Mhm.
Did he give you an indication of?
Not yet. He's going to get that information back to me. So I'll try and get that this afternoon from him. I'll give him a call.
That would be great.
So this is going to be one show. We're not splitting this up, right? This is going to be just one show. We're not going to we're going to forget about the end of August kind of thing. We'll just do it all at once on Canada Day.
If we can, if it's
Right.
possible.
Yeah.
And if you feel that your crew isn't going to be uncomfortable in doing them.
I don't think so. I think, as long as there's lots of lead time and we can close down that road and it can be done, instead of having 20 people in there setting up, and for 4 hours, we could have 5 people setting up, and maybe it'll take them the day. Right. And at least they'll be distanced and they'll be safe, and, we can try and figure out the hand lighting, how we're going to get past that. Because ideally it would be nice to shoot everything off electronically. Then there's nobody around, right?
Right.
But okay, I'll dig into that this afternoon, and do you want me to log back in after 5 o'clock, 5:30 or anytime?
Yeah, I think Brent had something that he had his hand up.
Okay.
Oh, I was just saying, I thought it was always our intention to fire them off for July 1st. So that's, I just think we don't have the dinner on the bridge this year, and the businesses have been through enough. So I think it's our way to kind of support them as well. So why not? No one else is doing it. So I really would want to see them July 1st. So that's just my thoughts.
So I would say whenever you have an answer, if you want to log back in, we'll make room for you.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything further for the chief? Seeing none. All right, so thank you. At least he doesn't look like he's on Dateline now. And he's in the brightest room in our house, believe it or not. It's all windows. All right, Jason, hi. Thank you for your indulgence.
How's everyone doing today?
Good, Jay, how are you doing?
Good. So I have some sad news to announce that one of our veteran waste site attendants will be retiring at the end of June. And also the waste site assistants will be leaving also. That has been posted this week. So hopefully we'll get some applicants within the time period and get someone rehired.
Are we going to do anything for this particular site attendant who's given a lot of years, not only to the waste sites, but the fire department as well?
Yes, I think there should be something done for him.
Maybe we do a Zoom retirement meeting, but Don't tell him.
right.
Jack, you had your hand up. Sorry about that.
It's okay. In the interim, Jason, do we have somebody to backfill, or how are we gonna do that if we don't? Is this a day course that somebody can take online, or what have we got?
No, actually, I was talking to Drainall about the courses, and he has a couple dates that are open before the end of June. So we can get actually the training done as long as we have someone that we feel is adequate for the positions.
Okay. We have some individuals that are trained right now though, right? We have
Yes,
some guys, yeah. So if need to be, we could fill in term type thing,
yes, yes.
because we don't want to have the date July 1st out and then all of a sudden saying we can't do it because we don't have manpower.
That's right.
And there are a lot of people looking for this depot. It's a
That's
very
right.
popular thing at our waste site, so that's great. Please let us know what you're gonna do for Reed, but maybe privately, maybe send an email so that if he's watching this, he doesn't know what we're fiendishly planning.
Sounds good. So further to the budget discussions on May 15th, I can report that the total cost of waste for 2019 was $347,653 at $198 a ton, and for recycling it was $110,000 at $76 a ton. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Jack.
Yeah, just how's that fall in relationship to this year, Jason? Like, because we have to get a new contractor for some of that stuff, right? Do you have any idea where we're going to be, or?
Not at this time, Jack, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
We could give you
It's
some
been
numbers, but
Well,
I think
it's
it's
definitely
been-
going to be higher, right? That we can-
yes,
Yeah, but I think it's a difficult question for Jay to answer right
Yeah.
now. Just due to the, do we go here? Do we go there? What are we doing here? So I think you'll have a better sense in maybe the next month or two, maybe a little early, but
well, the contractor that opened up in Renfrew, right now, all they're doing is a dual stream. So we can't go there unless we change our procedures here,
Jason,
which
could cost per ton, like to date, maybe? That might be a reflection of the costs.
for me, Annette?
Yes, sorry, for to date, like we've got the cost per date for waste and
Yes.
recycling. Would we have the tonnage to date?
Yes, we'll have that a lot.
So we might be able to do a comparator, like last year it cost this per ton for the whole year, and this is what it cost per ton for the last, let's say, 4 months.
Right.
That might give us an idea of how much we're increasing. Although the tonnage will be off too, because with the tipping fees being lifted, it's gonna be, but cost per ton.
but you did just steal that out of my brain.
Sorry,
We're in kind of a weird
yeah.
time here.
So we might
problem
actually go down. We might actually go down if our tonnage went up and our costs stayed the same. Like it might be a skew. Never mind.
It may be false economy. Go ahead, Jack.
Well, the problem with that is we changed the first couple of months we were with the old contractor. Now we just changed recently. So it's not really going to give you any accurate numbers if you go for 4 months. Because
Right.
it's the time with the new contractor that's really going to have the impact. So,
Yeah, and that cost has gone up a little bit per hour,
Yeah.
but they're doing it a lot quicker.
well, I have no problem with that, Jason. I just want to know what the costs are, right? If you're getting a better service for your job, that by all means is the way to go,
That's right. Okay,
Back to you, Jay.
all right. The tenders for the gravel and winter sand have gone out this week. Also, we have submitted the asphalt surface treatment and road material tenders also went out this week. So everything seems to be moving ahead pretty good. So it's just a matter of till we get our bell locates done. This should be done this week. Hopefully, we will be going ahead and getting our go ahead there for this construction. We've hired, we have a demo sidewalk machine that we're trying out. So it's good. It seems to be a good machine. We have to put a few more hours on it, but seems to be a pretty decent machine.
That's to take the place of the holder?
Yes, Merv.
So Jay, this is, you called it a demo. In the car industry, we consider demos, a car that I would drive and then we'd sell it, but it would be a discount. Is this demonstrator, is it up for sale? Like, can we purchase this at a discounted amount?
Yes,
That is perfect.
yes.
Right, it's right in between brand spanking new and depreciation and used that could cause some problems.
Now it does have some hours on it because it was a lease. So like
That's exactly the car industry.
yes, okay.
We would take them off the road after about 10,000 kilometers.
Jason, is this?
Go ahead.
Jason, is this thing as restrictive for attachments and parts as the holder was? I think the holder even had to go back to them for a hydraulic hoses. Is this thing as
Actually, Merv, it's the same type of machine, because for us to do a switch over to a different brand, we would have had to buy all new implements.
okay? The implements will fit on this one.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes. You're looking at a considerable amount of money to do a complete switch over.
Well, that's what I was worried about.
Yes, and everything that we have will work. So I thought that would be the best way to go.
Because at one time I thought only our holder stuff would go on a holder. There's nothing else that you could hook onto them. But this sounds good.
Yes. Okay. We have hired 2 seasonal employees to help us out for the construction and doing any other labor work that has to be done. I had the contractor that did the surface treatment on McGrath Road come back and do some look at some problem areas that we've had. Now with that, they will be doing some patching and resurfacing over top of these areas, and they put also an extra year warranty on, which I think is very good of them to do that.
It's very smart of them to do that.
Yes.
Did you want me to show the videos now, Jason, or not yet?
Yes, sure, Annette. That's the next on the
That's-
agenda.
Yeah, number 7, right?
Yes. So what I've done is last week we had the water truck go up and down the Fort Chute Road where the recent paving was done, and this will give you guys a good idea of what there are some problem areas where there's water laying.
Okay.
No, all this information that I've collected will go to the engineers that were dealing with this project, and then they can determine what the contractors should be doing with any repairs.
Okay. Sorry, I switched it over so that it would open automatically on me, and then I guess I had to do that on this laptop. I just did it on my computer.
So Jason, while Annette's getting this going, have you spoken to this contractor?
I have, yes.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
How deep would that be, Jason? About an inch or so?
Right there, Murph. No, there's very little. Everything is run over to the gutter, which is good. There's just a problem spot right up here on the next lane in front of the old convent.
Oh, yeah.
This area here.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's not good.
If you want, Annette, just skip ahead there a little bit.
Skip ahead on this one.
Yes, just a little bit, yeah. Please.
Like
Take
that.
us on the drive, Annette.
This is neat because I could still see you guys in the corner.
One thing I've noticed, Jason, where we're coming up to the next joint, I hope I'm not skipping ahead too far. I find it very rough there.
Yes, yes. So that'll be down by the old lime kiln or the old quarry.
Yeah.
So right where the 50-kilometer sign is, roughly just almost right at it, or just a little
That's
bit.
right.
Okay, so this obviously needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed basically now.
Yes. Yeah, so that joint is actually just past that black truck. Right
Did you
here.
want to?
No. I don't know why I guess it's going so slow.
Probably a lot of
A lot of data.
a lot of information being processed.
But now we're driving.
Right there's the joint.
If this was
Oh.
running a little bit smoother, you could actually see where we hit the joint with the truck.
I think that this gives us a good idea, though. Jay.
Yes, there are some other areas that there's more water laying on corners that I don't really like, because if someone comes around too quick and we're into a heavy rain, you know what's going to happen. They're going to hydroplane possibly.
Hopefully I'm decent. Oh yeah.
There's another one.
What the heck is that?
That's my hand. Oh, you're
It's
going to have to go to the next one, Annette. That's the same one.
That's the same one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, the area just ahead of the convent, that's definitely a concern spot for sure.
Yes.
That one's different?
No, it's just, there we go. There's the one we want.
That
That's the
seems
one?
like a lot of water.
It gets worse. Right here in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Oh, yeah, no, that's not acceptable.
You're talking about maybe 3/8 of an inch of water.
You want me to go ahead on it, or?
Yeah, I would, Annette, please. There's nothing now. There's a few other little spots. The next one's way down by the corner.
Yeah.
I think I'm, sorry, with,
You want me to open another one? We got two more.
there's about 16 or 17 spots where there's a lot of water laying.
Do you want me to open a different video, or? There's
Go to the
something
next
else
one,
on
and
this
that it'll show right on the corner then.
Okay. That one?
Yes.
Okay.
So what, have you talked to anybody yet, Jason, or?
I did talk to the engineer prior
Okay.
to doing this.
Yep.
And they know about what's going on. So as soon as they get this video, he can go over it, and then I'll get talking to him again.
And now this video, of course, will play a little bit smoother than what we're seeing right now.
I hope so, yes. If not, well,
And it
I'll have
looks
to-
great to me, so it must just be, yeah.
I think it's just how it's streaming, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it's choppy. I like that Bell has just decided to pass you, though. So, yeah, I think it's just how we're seeing it on Zoom, Tim.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so that's not acceptable. That has to be fixed. I mean, that was an enormous infrastructure project for us and well-engineered, on the shelf, ready to go project. I am seriously unimpressed with this.
One thing that I've taken note of, what we have done, and even in our budget meeting we just did, whatever it was there a week or so ago, we're looking at getting more of a time frame out of our infrastructure by investing more now, so the next generation won't have to, right? This is the whole purpose of going with asphalt over other types of surface. And if we can't get that longevity out of them or quality, you know, it's not good to our ratepayers either. So we have to make sure and do our part here at this point in time and make sure and stay on top of it. So when these roads are done, that they're done right, and they're hopefully done for, you know, 20 to 30 years. Like I'm hoping to get out of these styles of roads, right? So
And we're at year
it's not going to
one.
happen if it's holding water right now, for sure.
That's right. Go ahead,
So-
Jack.
So Jason, when, in talking with the engineers, did they come up with you some sort of proposed solution, what they're thinking of, or they want to look at the video first, or what are they?
Yeah, they want to look at the video, Jack, just to see
Yeah.
what is actually going on. In that first section, you can actually see where the roller marks are. Especially when you put down the water like that, you'll get the highs and lows, a lot better view of them.
Right.
So they'll go over all this data, and they'll make their decision on what should be done.
Yeah, to repair it. What about going down further? You said there's about 17 spots in total on a section of road.
Yes, each lane has, between 8 and 9 places, maybe 10.
Okay.
Okay, Jason, so if you have some answers for us, could you log into our June 16th meeting?
Yes,
I think that we need to take care of this sooner rather than later.
yes.
I don't want to wait until our July meeting. So if you've got a couple of minutes on June 16th and you have some answers for us,
Yes, okay,
thank you.
no problem. Also, I have been monitoring the areas where the spraying was done with for the wild parsnip and poison ivy. It seems that it has killed a lot of it, Merv. I was in on the walking trail, and it's in really good shape. I didn't notice anything. Now I find that there's poison ivy that's it's almost seems like the bloom is a little bit later this year.
Is that snow on May the 8th?
Yeah. So I think that I'll keep monitoring the areas, and we'll go from there and see how it did work out for us.
That's great. Good to know that helped.
Yes, especially down along the river. I didn't notice any poison ivy.
All right. Did anybody have anything else for Jason? Go ahead.
Yeah, Jason, I had a concern about Risto Road again, and I took a little drive on Sunday, and of course, Risto Road is a little bit rough, but other than that. But one of the concerns is that part of Risto Road beyond Fred Birch's. They're talked about mud in the spring, and if you look at it, they're just driving on soil there. Maybe we could get a few loads of gravel in there when you're graveling this summer.
That's what the plan is.
From Fred Birch's.
Yes.
Because I know there's only 2 residents, but anyway, and they pay taxes, but anyway, I haven't been down there for a while. And last time I was down there, the end of the road of the second residence seemed to be an ATV trail, but my God, it's an open road now. I don't know if we got hunt camps in the Brule or what, but.
Yeah, yes, there is some down in there.
Yeah, they're actually doing some building down in there, doing some work on a hunt camp. I don't know if it's a seasonal one or whatever, but there's some work going in there. Down past that.
Can you get right through there now, Jack? Maybe out by Barry Birch's?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I wasn't going to try it with a car.
No, I don't think you make it with a car, but you can go right through. And that's the back end of the Brule, right? You come right back. Get around Brad's and come back through.
Just another thought about Risto Road. Back before amalgamation, we did some upgrades on Risto Road thinking about hard surfacing, and that's over 20 years ago. I think with the problems we have there, it might be worthwhile to make it a project some year and get some hard surfacing done. I don't know whether it's the traffic, the volume of traffic, or the type of traffic, or the composite of the road, but it looks to me, and this hasn't just happened yesterday. It looks to me that 2 days after the grader, they got a rough road again.
And you know, we do put gravel on that road every year pretty
Oh,
well.
I know.
Yeah.
But
But the
before,
problem-
before
Yeah,
amalgamation, we looked at things such as taking off some of the hills, and that gave us entrance problems for people. And then we looked at that Fred's place, that knoll there, but it's all flat rock. So we raised the swamps up. I mean, at one time you were going on corduroy rock. We raised the swamps up with the intention of someday hard surfacing it. I think maybe we should take a long look at that sometime in our long range projects. That maybe that will solve a lot of our problems.
The only problem, Merv, is that some of those areas, the water cannot get away because it's so flat in there.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at one area and I thought it was either beaver dam or it's just all flat.
Yeah, it's very flat in there, and the water just kind of seeps away as it goes around through the road. It has to do loops through in there. So we'd have to do.
Project that you had planned on though, Jay.
Pardon me, Jen?
This is a project that you had planned to do.
Sometime, yes.
Okay.
If you
Okay,
get
did anybody,
a few loads of gravel at the end, that'll keep a lot of people happy.
That's what the plan was, Merv. I have that scheduled in there for some gravel.
Okay,
oh,
thank you.
that's what I meant, Jay, that you had already had graveling that small portion on your project list
Yes.
that I'm sure is like this big.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to go through a lot of gravel very quick.
All right. Did anybody have anything else for Jason? Go ahead, Tim.
One thing, Jason, that I've noticed over the years on any gravel road is if they don't have compaction or calcium or some sort of binding, we lose a lot of gravel because of dust, and that's how you get your washboard, right?
Yes.
So I wonder, is it more practical for our gravel roads to have that application go down, maybe anticipated a little earlier in the run rather than wait till, later on in the season to start putting that down? Because if anybody knows, when you drive on a gravel road and you got a big cloud of dust, well, that goes in the air and you lose your gravel. It takes off, you get washboard, and that's what happens. So if you can get some sort of binding in it, in which the calcium does, it doesn't take off on you, right? So is it more practical to have that going down a little earlier in our seasons? Because like last week with this big dry stuff, I'd hate to figure out how many tons we've lost airborne, over the days, and that's what gives you your rough roads, right?
If anybody has been on any of the side roads, you can see actually where the calcium has come back up.
Yep.
And hardened up a few of the area, like a lot of the areas. So it has, if the gradermen, do what they're supposed to be doing, it will come back up through the gravel with some moisture. A lot of the roads have packed in very nicely.
They have. Absolutely. No, I have seen that, but like I say, it's always the first few weeks, that 3-4 weeks in May that we get a lot of, especially this year we had that big long dry spell, and that's where it created the issue. And that's all I'm saying is it worthwhile? And it's a question to you, Jason, is it worthwhile trying to plan to have that done basically as soon as the frost comes out? Is there any benefit to applying it then than later on in the season?
There definitely is, Tim, because you have the moisture in there, which will hold your calcium in a lot longer.
And that's what I was thinking, maybe we'll get the better bang for the buck. And I wonder if we shouldn't plan for that for next year, ahead of time, like start planning for that in November or whatever it is, rather than wait till after the case and then rush to get it. I don't know. It's just an ask. That's all.
Yes. It'll all depend on then, Tim, how thick we put our gravel on to recoat, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's it. Like, I know like this year we're pushing, not really pushing, but we're doing some pretty major infrastructure improvements in certain areas. I don't want to see the mom and pops that are in the back road losing out either, right? So it'd be good to give them a little bit too, so.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, thanks for that, guys. Anything further? All right, well, Jason, you and your staff be well. And let us know what you want to do for Reed.
Okay.
It's a surprise.
All right, sounds good, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, Jason.
Have a good
Thanks.
day.
Have a good one.
Bye.
And I see that we have the fire chief back, but I think the phone just rang, so I think he's on the phone. Do we just want to, does anybody want 5 minutes for water or coffee or washroom? Anything, anyone?
We can, because the budget will probably be, like, the rest of the meeting might go on a bit longer.
Yeah,
If you
that's
want a
true.
little- If you want a piece of rhubarb delight, go get it now. Is that it?
Yeah. I could use a fill up on my water. Okay, so Annette, do you pause this while we take a little break?
Yep,
Just so people- Yeah,
I will pause it right now and mute everybody.
okay, so let's just take,
Oh, no, it'll,
There you go.
I think
Bye.
it only shuts me off, just so you're aware. If you,
oh, okay. and
your
the
own
chief is-
videos will continue to play on YouTube.
Oh, all right, well, bring us back up. The chief is back. Let's,
Okay,
chief, and then we'll take a break.
okay.
I think if everybody just mutes and goes, stop video, so your screen goes to your name. And then we can resume the meeting with the rest of our, because I agree with you in that budget will take a little while.
Okay.
All right, hey, chief.
Okay, so I talked to Caleb. Right now, they're looking only at 2 to 3 week delivery time. So he's gonna have an order ready this week. I said, go ahead and put your order in, so at least we have them. So our first date is gonna be July 1st, which is the Wednesday. And our backup date will be the 4th, which will be that next Saturday. Just in case July 1st is a rain day. So that we have that. The 5,000 we were talking about, he said that should be exactly what we need to fire every tube that we have. Plus it'll give us some extra, the cakes and stuff for the finales and whatnot. So he says 5,000 we'll put on an excellent show.
Look at that, $1,800 out of the budget. Woohoo! I'm taking every dime, Annette. Every dime we're taking back. Please thank Caleb for that. That's This is exciting news. I'm a little overwhelmed right now. I think that this is such an amazing thing to do. And I think it's going to help people, get out and experience something so wonderful for our nation's birthday.
So
in light of what's going on. So
we'll meet regarding this. One thing I did say to him is that the spotlight will be on us right now and the way we interact with each other while we're doing this. So we're going to have to, because nobody else is doing fireworks because of COVID. So we're going to meet via phone or whatever and come up with a game plan for us being there and trying to make it happen. Right, as far as physical distancing, safety precautions, all that kind of stuff, because I don't want anything, getting back or jumping on social media that we didn't do something properly. So we're going to make sure that we're in good form to make this happen. So.
And if you want the host login for Zoom to do it that way, just I can email that to you. No problem.
Okay. Perfect.
that's great. Is everybody excited?
Hey, Jen,
Yes, Merv.
take a minute. You're concerned about our budget. Daughter has been up here. She works at Georgian College. She's been up here visiting for a bit. And I was privy in a conference call that she was having. I don't know how many millions they've cut, but they're still 13 million short. Though. We're lucky with our budget. When I started hearing those numbers, I said, thank God.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
All right, well, thank you, and please thank Caleb for us, Dave.
Will do.
Excellent. All right,
Okay.
guys, so if you just want to go stop video and mute yourselves if you want to go and do whatever you want to do, and we'll resume in 5 minutes. I would actually like to bring up CP 24. I think that they passed it, but I want to see for a second.
So there, I said.
Hey, you figured out your cell phone or telephone bill.
Yes, and I'll get the radio as well.
All right, so we're just waiting on Tim and we'll get back to work here.
Anybody have any rhubarb they'd like to get rid of? Ours isn't worth a damn this year.
We have none. Our garage is built now where our rhubarb was.
Oh, I just lawnmowered over a bunch, so unfortunately I don't.
Some of our residents would not like Brent.
That's fine.
Rhubarb is a commodity around here.
Oh, when it's cut down, it's nice and green, so it's perfect.
It is too, actually.
You know that your hand is still raised, right, Brent?
Nope. But does it? How's the hand though? It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't see it.
Oh, and it's possible only the host can see it, but it was up. Yeah, it was on the corner of his screen and maybe I'm the only one that could see it.
Brent was voting on something. I don't know. He was doing a council meeting all on his own.
Perfect.
Okay, so welcome back, guys. Thanks so much. I'm sure everybody is refreshed. I saw that Merv was having some rhubarb something. Before we move on to correspondence, Annette, I have a crazy question. Is there any way that we could live stream to YouTube the fireworks?
We can. The only thing that I wonder is how well it would come out, because of course we have the sorry, I'm getting an echo. The laptop has a camera on it. Like there's iPads, there's phones that have cameras on it. So we could set it up in a spot where we know that the fireworks are going to go off here in the sky and you're going to be able to see them. It's making sure we've got the best view, and how good would the video be? Like what would the quality be?
Yeah, it was just a crazy idea while we were on break. Just for those people that don't feel safe going out or can't get a parking spot, or traditionally they watch them from their house. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Tim.
Well, some people with Apple devices, I heard they have like a fireworks mode on their.
Tim, you're gonna have to log out and log back in. Sorry. And Brent, I did see your hand up. Let's just wait for Tim to restart here. Thank you.
While we're waiting, I just had another question posed to me. Are fire pits allowed in the village of Eganville? I don't think so.
I assume they are, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know. That's a question for the fire chief.
I know, he's gone.
But yeah, we can ask him.
Hang on. While Tim's logging in, hang on. Okay, so the chief says they're supposed to be checked by the fire department, but as long as they don't interrupt the enjoyment of the neighbor's property, he's not too worried about it. I don't, you know, again, we don't really want our people going out if not necessary. All right, Tim, let's see if we can hear you now.
Am I back?
You are excellent.
I don't know why it does that, but it does. No, I know on some Apple devices, they have a fireworks mode on their on their cameras. So if anybody has something like that, maybe to do a test run prior to, like, you know, even the phone and use that to record it, because certain filters on your camera will work with fireworks, and of course others won't. So
I would be happy to look into that because all of our devices are Apple except for this laptop. So
I have Android.
Yeah, I don't see a fireworks mode. Like I see a slow mode. I don't know, even know that we'd need a slow mode. Like, anyway, I mean, I'm sure we can do it. What I'm saying is 100% we can do it.
it's just the quality.
The quality will be what the quality is going to be. If we're willing to pay somebody to film it. So.
Okay. Brent, yes, go ahead.
You know, mine was just a suggestion as well, was just so like on our Zoom meetings, you can flip your camera around. So like we could just have it open, like an open Zoom channel for all the residents in Eganville. And that people are watching the fireworks and they have a good view, they can just switch their phones around. Because realistically, people video record. And so it's just a suggestion. You could have 20, 30 people on, or 5 people, and you have different views of the fireworks. So just where people are standing.
Well, we have a month to look into it. I'd really like to see if we can do this.
Or we could spend the 1,800 and get a professional and really have a nice live one. Like, I mean, beautiful. It's just a, you know what?
You
She's
see the
trying
number?
to take that 1,800 back from us.
She had that number. You see that?
That-
Jen?
exactly.
She's trying to take that. You have to watch her, and whatever you do not show her pictures of your fried chicken.
Well,
No,
we were getting coffee.
You have to
budget.
watch her every minute.
Yes.
All right, well, let's look into that and we can discuss at our next meeting. Can we make sure that's on the agenda so that council knows and we can get it on social media and out in a press release as well, please? That'd be lovely. All right, so now we're gonna move on to correspondence. Did anybody have anything on correspondence? We didn't have very much correspondence. I think people are sort of laying low right now. And I didn't see anything of grave.
Well, the high-speed internet, but that's common across the province. That's just,
And we've done that. I mean, we've done that through us, through the county, through the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus. I mean, we know that that's our priority and an infrastructure project that has to be done, especially considering how we're all living right now. So, all right. So nothing on correspondence. Everybody's good.
everybody's happy.
All right, so County of Renfrew update. There's a lot of stuff going on at the County of Renfrew. Every department is working their best. We have a really, really well done work at home policy. People are coming into the office when necessary. They are physically distancing. Our infrastructure projects are going ahead. I have to recuse myself from Highway 512, but the first phase of 512 will be started in the next few weeks. So Tim, you might want to find an alternate route. It's going to be a bit dicey for your big truck.
I don't have a WestJet, Jen, so we still have to get there.
All right. Yeah, our long-term care homes are in excellent shape. Thank God for our amazing staff and our director of long-term care who put in protocols long before the province made us. So that certainly helped with our numbers. Our Renfrew County Health Unit is working away at testing. The paramedics, of course, are doing their virtual triage assessment center, which has had over 4,000 people assessed by phone, which is unbelievable that they're keeping most of those people out of the ER, especially those that don't have a family doc. So if you take into consideration that even an intake at the emergency room is approximately $1,000, That doesn't include any testing. It doesn't include a bed. It doesn't include anything. It's your intake. Those 4,000, even if you took half of them that didn't have to go to the emergency room, that is quite the number of savings for our Ontario our healthcare system. What else? Oh, there's so much going on, guys. We had a 7.5-hour meeting, got through a lot of, necessary governance. The warden did proclaim last week the paramedic service week. And of course, we all know that Teresa Tam, our national medical officer, actually gave a shout out to the Renfrew County paramedics last week in her address on Monday. So that was very exciting news and well-deserved by our paramedic service. Outside of that, I think, we're all doing our best. It is very interesting trying to meet with 31 people on a Zoom meeting. If you want to go on and watch them, they're pretty amazing. The one thing I did want to pull out, and I'm going to leave you with this, is the information about the official plan and our disagreement with it. Words were used like seething, unacceptable. So I think that we're going to see a huge pushback from the County of Renfrew. I know that our CAOs with our planners are planning a Zoom meeting. So that should be interesting. I will say that if you want to go on YouTube, what they've very astutely done is taken that hour-long discussion about the official plan. They've taken it out of the 7.5-hour meeting. So you can watch just that if you choose to. There's a lot of interesting comments about it. We are not going to let this go. So just so you guys know, we are going to fight this tooth and nail. This plan is great for the GTHA. It is not great for rural Ontario, not just Renfrew County. I know that on Friday, the warden was going to speak to it at her virtual Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus meeting. So I'll be interested to hear what our colleagues have to say about that. So that is my County of Renfrew update. Did anybody have any questions? All I could see were Jack's big hands.
I asked Jason to
It's like a velociraptor. Go ahead, Annette.
Thank you. I asked Jason to come back for 1 minute because under the unfinished business, there is, he received his certified road supervisors. And, and so I thought it'd be nice if he was here.
And my apologies, I meant to do that when he was here, but working on my iPad, trying to sift through, I'm still getting used to it, guys. I know it's been months, but it's a community center. Go ahead, Brent.
Oh, here we can do you want to do Jason?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
let's finish off this.
I watched the YouTube video a couple times, specifically for the OP, just trying to get myself caught up to date on it. So the county itself and the county councilors, you guys are drafting like a letter for Minister Clark and Minister Yakubuski, or what's where is the county itself going right now? Like, is every mayor calling the ministers, or are they just drafting a letter, or where's it going?
Well, we're kind of doing all of it. So thanks for that question, Brent. I didn't really touch on that. The warden, and I'm assuming also the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, will be sending a letter. I know that it will be delineated down to the local tiers so we can endorse the letter, but it is also going back to Development and Property Committee. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, guys, we're going back to having committees this month in June. So it is going back to the Development and Property Committee for other review, because the CA, as I mentioned, the CAOs and the planners, they have some ideas that they're going to send to Development and Property Committee. So if you just stick with me for a couple of weeks, I will have all those answers for you. But at this point, we have to push back. We absolutely, this is a completely unacceptable plan for rural Ontario. And as you could hear, if you watched it a couple of times, there wasn't one mayor or reeve in that room that felt that it was an acceptable plan.
No, I agree. And that's why I asked just like, what's the direction of the county council? And I've always been, it's unfortunate you can't do really face-to-face meetings, so you have to do Zoom calls, but I definitely encourage, especially there's a lot of county councilors that have been around for a while and familiar with OP. So definitely just continuously call our MP in our area just to voice our concerns. And it's just because we're new to this as new councilors. So it's just familiarizing yourselves with it. But that's just what I would like to see as well.
I'm glad you did. That's a really good thing to educate yourself on, especially if you're being asked by residents what they can and cannot do.
Well, especially pertaining, like you look at our growth in our township, especially if we're like having a growth allocation on, or how that's happening among our upper tier spread out across. So no, it's a conversation I would love to support, continue, and be educated on. So thanks.
Well, as you can see from some of the maps, Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards is basically one big deer yard, which is ridiculous. They've added this prime agriculture land, especially in some of our more our farm communities. Horton and North Algona have really taken a hit on that. And what they're considering prime agriculture land, I don't know about you, but if you've been out to my farm, I grow rocks here. So prime agriculture is a pretty big statement when you're talking about some of our municipalities. There's also this concern about, even if they took down our growth allocations, which is the first thing people spoke to, if they take away the growth allocations, but you still need to do $50,000 worth of tests, archaeological, karst, endangered species, I could go on and on and on. If you're already at 50,000 before you've even put a shovel in the ground, are you going to bother developing? I would say no. I don't see some of our more rural development going forward in that case, which concerns me, and obviously concerns all 17 of us, and I would hope concerns every local tier politician and staff member, when we know that we need growth to keep our tax levy where it is. When we go in the budget, we're going to see that our growth was 1.27% in Bonnechere Valley, which meant that our tax levy only went up 1.57%. And considering where we started with this budget, considering that we had to put in the 83,000 for the bridge because we got the grant, I think that's an incredible thing to have new taxation of almost 1.3%. Well, we won't have that under this new OP. So I'm really happy to hear that you guys are invested in this, and we will be fighting back. Annette, did you have your hand up?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Did anybody else have anything? So thanks for those comments. I really appreciate the support, guys. All right, so we've got a resolution for the FCM application that's coming forward tonight. And it is in our afternoon package, but it's in our evening package. So
Yes, just in case anybody had a quick change they wanted to make before tonight.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Because then we're just going to move. We're just, yeah.
Right. Okay. Did anybody have anything on that application? All right. Great. All right. So Jason, Annette, you want to tell us what this is all about? This is quite something.
This is really something. So this is through the Association of Ontario Road Superintendents, which is for the whole province. We have a local one too, our Renfrew County Road Supers, which, as you know, the AOR's trade show was brought to Arnprior. Was that 5 years ago, maybe? So
Roughly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Roughly.
that sounds about right.
yeah, so I mean, a massive organization that supports our road supers through education, through courses, through certification, as well as OGRA and stuff like that. So obviously Jason was working hard on this before I even got here, because he has received his certified road supervisor, his CRS designation, which I just congratulations, Jason. This is an amazing achievement and definitely needed to be acknowledged at our meeting here and with council. So do you have anything?
Congratulations, Jason. And my apologies, I didn't forget about you, but I'm working on my iPad and I was on your report and I forgot that it was coming up in new and unfinished, or I would have kept you on. So thanks to Annette for getting you back. But this is a great accomplishment. I always love to see staff doing professional development, getting accredited, and I really appreciate continued education. It is paramount to me. So I want to wish you the biggest congrats from all of council, but I'll open it up to council if anybody wants to have a chance to thank Jason or congratulate him. Okay, let's just all give him a big thumbs up. Yay, Jason.
And this does support
There you go.
our grant applications as well, because when we have to file grant applications, they say, so who do you have on staff that's going to make sure that, you know, these plans you implement and this money we're giving you is going to good use. So when they see that the staff is experienced and has their designations, it does lend itself support for the township. So congrats again, Jason, and thanks for everything you're bringing to the table.
Thank you all very much.
Kudos, man.
Congratulations.
Get back to work.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Now we know who to blame it on.
That's right. With great achievement comes great
We
scrutiny.
have our fall guy.
That's nice. Way to make him feel loved, guys.
Not our fault. Jason told us.
Oh, bye.
Bye, Jay. All right, and now the moment you've all been waiting for, the 2020 budget presentation. Yay! I love budget day. That was really fun, guys. I want to thank you all before Annette gets into the presentation. You all came prepared. Congrats to all the staff that worked so hard. I think we should all be extremely proud of this budget, considering some of the challenges that we've faced in this year, especially in light of the pandemic. So Annette, if you could take us away. And again, council, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, just wave your hand and we'll, hopefully we can see you. And if not, just yell at me, okay? Not like you don't know how to yell at me.
Okay. Screen here. Okay,
Correct.
everybody's looking at that now?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Look
great.
good. Can I get a thumbs up?
Good. And I can see you. Can you guys see each other, or is it just me that can see us?
I can only see Merv, Brent, and you.
Okay.
Missing Tim and Jack.
Hey, scroll down your screen there, Jen, and you can see it, the little arrow on the bottom.
Yeah.
You can see me. You can pick and choose
Oh,
your
yeah.
favorite people to look at.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
And you
Okay.
can go,
Okay, thanks for the tip.
All right. And I did figure out today how to use the whiteboard when we took the 5-minute break. So I was able to actually be back in 5 minutes. So that's
Yeah, we saw that.
That's a new feature. I'll work on that going forward. Okay. So again, I would repeat what you said. It was a great day. I think council worked hard, staff, like department heads worked hard to get it. All I would say, looking at the procedure myself is I feel like maybe I should have had a follow-up meeting with department heads just to again go over sort of where we ended up. So those are learning curves and things for me as I go. I do hope that at some point I'll get to spend more time in sort of some senior leadership meetings and stuff. So, but with COVID, it's been an interesting year. So I'll just get started right with the summary of revenues. So you can see the taxation, the levy. So that's the 3,367,329. The curbside area tax rate or tax levy. The grants in lieu of taxes. So those are for different properties that we get that are owned by the province or by hydro or whichever who they pay in lieu instead of directly for taxes. The OMP funding, thank goodness we are still receiving that. The gas tax funding from the federal government for infrastructure, the OSIF, which again is this is supposed to be the last year for that, the Ontario infrastructure fund, but who knows, that was supposed to be the last time last year. So hopefully it will continue on, because we all know infrastructure needs funding. The connecting link, that was the funding that Mayor Murphy was referring to, that we received just before we were doing the budget presentation. So that was great news. And like you said, we were happy to have it. It meant that then we'd reached a budget point and we had to sort of add an additional amount of $83,000. So that's not nothing into our levy.
And I just before you move on there, Annette,
Yeah.
I know that it's coming up in your pie chart, but I just want to draw people's attention to the fact that that partnership fund, that 1.5 million, is about 21% of our budget. It's an enormous amount. So it's incredibly important when we're lobbying the government to keep that fund going. Nobody really knows how it's sorted out between municipalities, but I do know that having good debt and good projects absolutely feeds into that. So I just wanted to highlight that 1.5 million and its importance to Bonnechere Valley.
Excellent. So we've got other municipal grants. So we've got our our modernization funding in there for our operational review, which we're just underway right now. There will be a public survey going out, hopefully be ready for the July newsletter so that everybody has that, because we do want to touch base with the public as well on what they see. There's some aggregate funding in there, our recycling as well, reserves. So in those reserves, that's the reserves that were left over from last year's budget, and as well that were unallocated to any expenses. And as well, there's an additional $152,000 coming out of the efficiency funding for various projects, for rec, for fire, for roads that are very important and should improve efficiencies within the township. Fire revenue. So I realize that looks like a very small number, but that is because we have fire is not meant to be raising revenue, and the revenues that they are raising, 50% are going into a reserve for future capital replacements. So that is all that we are sort of keeping as a revenue number, because that's where that's at. Recreation revenue, so that's going to be down this year. We know that. Public works revenue, so some of that is our tipping fees from our waste. That's way down. Animal shelter revenue is pretty close to the same. We get a lot of support from our surrounding townships to help us cover the costs of that. The planning and building revenue, we're hoping, is going to stay the same. Because we need that revenue and we need that growth, as you were just saying, in the township, and then other revenue from various sources, such as penalty on taxes and stuff like that, which is also way down. So I mean, I think our revenues have probably taken a hit of about $200,000. So I mean, that's like 5% of our whole levy that we don't even have to start with. So we're already starting at a deficit. The $83,000 for the Bridge Street, again, if we didn't have to kick in that money, we probably would have been actually looking at a decrease, whether it's a 1% decrease instead of the increase of 2.84. And that's not even looking at the new growth. It could have even come down further. So council and staff worked really hard to, especially with everything going on right now, to get it as low as possible, but still fund these initiatives and still take the reducement in revenue to try to provide some support for our local businesses, for our local residents, either through not charging bag tag fees, through not charging penalty and interest to give you an additional amount of time to pay your taxes without penalizing you, because you maybe were having some challenges with whether you had employment, didn't have employment, had revenue, didn't, and then you had to apply for these programs. They didn't seem to come out until sometimes April. Some of them came out sooner than that, but some of them, even you were waiting till May. So we've done our best to try and accommodate that in this time period. And now things are going to slowly get back to normal, with the office opening next week, with the tipping fees now at Snowdrifters June 1st, and then the rest of the waste sites on July 1st, and then penalty and interest as well going back out on July 1st. So we've tried to give you those opportunities to catch up and deal with this issue. But it did affect the bottom line.
Thanks, Annette. Was there anything on that slide?
Sorry.
I'm going to scroll down to see. all council. Anything on that slide, guys? All right, seeing none. Yeah, thanks for touching on a couple of those things, Annette, but definitely, I think cash flow, when we got to April with some of the portals for funding opportunities for our residents and our businesses, not necessarily being open, immediately, that I think cash flows were taking a hit, but I think we should be seeing people sort of slowly coming out of that as they're able to apply. So that's great. Thank you.
Jen, can you see me?
Oh, I can't see you, but you go ahead, Tim.
Okay, so what I did to remedy what's going on with our view, I dragged everything over to the left side of my screen so I can still see the budget. And then if you click in the upper corner, there's that like 9 square thing. You'll be able to see all of us at the same time, as long as you enlarge your.
Anyone right now or not? She can call back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and
Okay.
Tim, I had to do the same thing. I had to drag it over to the left because it was actually impeding me seeing the numbers on my screen.
And yes, I had to do that, but then if you click on the, like I say, the 9 square, you can see us all.
If you stretch it out. Yep, I see. Thank you very
Stretch it out a
much.
little wee bit there and you're good to go.
Yep.
Just to help you out.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, that works way better.
There you go.
Perfect. Okay.
Yay, now I can see everyone. Thanks for the tip, Tim. That's great. But yeah,
I'm learning too.
I didn't know, I'm like, oh, I better drag because I could only see the words. I couldn't see any of the numbers.
You don't need the numbers.
No, but
Yeah,
I think,
it's the 1800.
but Tim's right. I mean, so if anybody's watching this, I'm not sure that they would have been able to see them. I'm not sure how it looks on YouTube.
So I pulled it over, so it was okay on.
Oh, okay.
My screen is the one being shared, so I think it's we're good to go.
Oh, good. Okay, great. All right, let's move ahead. Thank you.
Okay. So, oh, sorry, I just wanted to touch on one more thing on that slide, which was the pending grant approval. So those are grants that we've applied for that we have yet to have received approval for. And you're going to see later on in the slides, it talks about the amounts that we've applied, the projects that we've applied for that are pending approval. And so when you take those two numbers, you're going to notice there's a difference, and the difference is our portion. So this is the revenue that we would receive if those grants were approved. And then when you see the expense, of course, the projects are more than the funds we're receiving. So just to be clear on what's going on there.
And it seems that all of the different grant apps have a different cost share. Some are 10%, some are 22%, some are 33%. So yeah, it's sort of a moving target.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so and the FCM is not in there because we're just starting that now. So, but it won't take effect till 2021 anyway. So in the pie chart, you can sort of see the only things that are missing out of this is anything that was really small. Like if it was 0.3, for animal control, the wording would have took up a big chunk of this pie, and the sliver you wouldn't even have seen. So you would have saw wording and gone, well, where is it? So and there was only, I think, 2 really, really small areas, and I could have combined them into something else. But anyway, so there's the pie chart. As you can see, 46% is coming from taxation, 1% from the curbside area tax rate, 21%, as the mayor mentioned earlier, of the OMF, 1% the gas tax, OSIF is 4%, the connecting link funding is 10%, other grants, so recycling, aggregates, efficiencies, our reserves. We are removing some funds for reserves to support these projects this year. And that money is going into capital, like it's capital purchases that those are being used for. They're not being used for operating whatsoever. Recreation is 3%, public works is 2%, planning and building is 1%, and other revenues is 4%. So that would be the penalty and interest, the interest on the bank account, different things like that. So.
All right, any questions about the pie chart? Yeah, thanks for leaving out the slivers.
Yeah.
Because it would just be a line.
You would, yeah, you couldn't even, it would just look like extra wording that was taking up room, and it was kind of like, what is that? Okay. So, yeah.
Great. All right,
Other
let's move
revenues.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so some of the projects that are going in that the reserves are going to is Augsburg Road, so the 2.3 kilometer reconstruction, and OSIF and the gas tax is also supporting the project. So that's a project, from my understanding, that both through asset management, through public works, through council, this is something that we wanted to get going on. I think it's going to be a 3-year project because we have to do it in sections. There's a really expensive section that has to be significantly dug out, and some drainage and stuff put in there. So that's why it has to be split up. If we were just doing surface, we probably could have done it in one run. But when you're getting into base, you really have to make sure that each section is built up properly. Bridge Street, so 100 meters reconstruction there. That's the connecting link funding we discussed. The Silver Lake culverts at Matags and at Graveyard. That's what those 2 culverts are going to cost, and that of course is the surface and everything in that project. So, any questions on that before I keep going? So,
No, I think we're good to go.
Manning Road, so we're going to do some patching there this year. We were looking at putting more into that project this year, but then we got Bridge Street too, and we got quite a few projects on the go. So we are going to at least remediate it so that it gets some attention. And then the gravel contract as well for 120,000. So that's some of the projects, as well as the entire township, some stockpile stuff like that. So overall, I mean, the construction budget itself is 1.5 million. So I mean, the investment is definitely there for the infrastructure and the construction in this budget. That's not, you know, we, like I said, we have a less revenues, and we're trying to be very careful with our increases. So anything that is there is more than being directed straight into these capital infrastructure projects. So,
Well, and I think with your leadership and our road super and council making some tough decisions, I think that we've chosen some good projects. I'm sorry, Jack, I missed your hand going up there quickly. You're on mute.
There we go. I know we had a Connor board that was on there, and we've putting it on. O'Connor Road, I think when you talk with Jason over that with Annette, it's probably a lot of just day labor stuff. So that's something that we might be able to even do partially some work on that, right? So I just don't want to drop it right off the skid, because it's mostly just involving our own men with day labor. It's something that we might be able to address.
yes, and
I
apparently
agree, Jack. I would
Sorry.
say that if there is the opportunity and there's enough gravel, but if the guys have some time to do some day labor, I would think that would be a project that we could slip back in.
I think O'Connor Road is mainly ditching.
So, yeah, so I think maybe, Annette, if you want to make a note of that, just that, you know, I think Jack's absolutely correct. It was a $30,000 project, but you know, how many projects are these guys going to get done? Perhaps they will have the time.
Yeah, that's always a question, right? You budget, and you know, sometimes it works out, you can do a bit more. Sometimes your schedule ends up, there's no way, you can barely get done what you have planned. So, but I have a conversation with Jason about that. And Jack, I obviously didn't want to cut O'Connor either. I cut it out of the budget, but as you know, I kept it in my first version of the PowerPoint because I couldn't let go of it. So
it's Annette's favorite road in the township. She travels it so often.
Apparently.
No, it's just something that we should keep, not totally disregard, that's all. You know,
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Work on it.
I will bring that up with Jason for sure.
And that was like, no, keep O'Connor. All right.
So some of the other projects that we don't know if we're going to get funding for them or not. We've got the sorry, I shouldn't say that. The museum retaining wall, I did receive a letter. We're not getting it.
Oh no!
I did book a call with OMAFRA to talk about it because it's through their ministry, the funding that we applied for, to discuss what were we missing? What were they looking for that we didn't meet? So, and maybe nothing, but I always find it's good to have that discussion because they might bring something to our attention that you know, there might be a weakness there that we didn't see. So I have booked that telephone conversation with Dana, myself, and them to look over the grant application and find out what we were missing. Now Trillium is coming up in the fall. They would be a similar funding stream. So I think for sure we will look back at that. I know we talked too about the curling club and stuff too, but we've got this one. I think it looks great and it was ready to go, but we did send it up to the county to have Mike Barber look at it too. So I will, I'll have the discussion with them and say, you know, what did we miss? And maybe it was just a multitude of applications this year and we didn't miss anything. And if that's the case, then we just keep applying. Sometimes the third time's a charm, you know, you just keep going.
The third time, I think this is like the 8th time that Dana has applied for this retaining wall.
Well, we're not giving up.
We're not giving up. Yes, Murph, go ahead.
In a nutshell, Annette, what were they recommending we do with the retaining wall? Drainage or?
So
What did the engineers recommend?
yeah, there was repairs to be done to the retaining wall, but I'd have to go back and look at the exact application to give you the entire breakdown, but they have a whole design done. It's ready to go. Like this project is ready to start running, you know, as soon as we get funding. But I mean, it would be nice to have some funding towards it because it's not a cheap job. It's not the most expensive job.
Well, we've talked about it several times as to what approach we could take, what can fix it.
Oh, so I do have an engineered drawing, so I can probably get that for you and send it to you if you want to look at it.
No, you don't have to send it to me. I'll be in the office signing some checks anyway within the next week or so.
Okay, yeah, I have it in an email form, so it's
Okay, well, let's send it in an email form then,
yeah,
sure.
sure. Okay.
All right.
So we now, the Economic Development Action Plan, we may be receiving funding for that, is my understanding. So we lost out on one, we may be gaining on the other. So we're waiting to get a confirmation on that, but it sounds like that may be going forward, which would be great. Yeah, that one could be 2021 with some studies and some consulting and see what we can do to assist our businesses, especially in this economic recovery. So I feel like it's kind of good timing for that one. And I'll just say, I'm not a huge one on studies and hiring and consultants and getting these really complicated plans that we put on a shelf and never look at again. So we're looking at like both our operational plan, this action plan, any of these plans that I'm talking about, I always expect something to come out of them that is useful and that we are going back to it every year and that the data is very easy for all staff to use. Not just like everybody. I don't want a consultant to be able to tell me how to use this data. I want it, I want to be able to have a template to have reports back to council on an annual basis to say, you know, here's how we're meeting this plan. Here's the goals. Here's how it was measured. So I just want to be clear with council there that while I do feel these types of plans have a benefit, I do have a particular, whenever I'm speaking to the consultants, I definitely have a particular way of saying, like, I'm not looking for something to sit on a shelf. I want something I can use. So just for your...
Exactly. Nothing bothers me more than a strategic plan that sits on a shelf.
Yes. So Legion Field rehabilitation. So we haven't heard anything on that yet. So still hoping that will come forward, and the John Street water main, still hoping for that one too. So maybe those projects will come forward and we'll have more stuff to do in 2021.
Great. Any question on that slide? Okay, then go ahead, and thank you.
Okay. So this is sort of the waste. I know we've talked a lot about waste this year. So these are some of the costs from the different sites. So,
all right. Anything on waste? Okay.
So these are the costs for different departments. So we've got, general government, administration, things like that, protective services. Now you will see that number did change by 2,000 because in the replacement of the radios were the estimate, the quote was for 31,000. We had an extra $2,000 in there for 33, which is sort of installation stuff like that. And then we have to build a little house for the I don't know if it's the receiver or what we have to build a little house for, but we we did discuss that at budget. We did say yes at the 2,000, but I had the 31,000 for the radios plus 2,000 equals 33, but that 2,000 was already in there for the installation. So, but it's efficiency funding, so it's not touching our levy or our tax rate or anything like that. So just, that was one other change. And that's where I say, maybe I should have touched base with, I did touch base with the department heads, but maybe a quick meeting to review with them one more time next year will be an extra step I'll implement. So, yeah.
I think one of the things, thanks Annette, I think one of the things I'd like to touch on in protective services is to let our residents know that over $750,000 of that is OPP.
Yes, yes.
Very important.
Of that, the majority of that is policing, absolutely.
Jack, did you have your hand up?
Well, I was just on the other, just a comment on the waste, that includes Cabian doing the, their
Yes.
assessments every year with that? Yeah.
Yes, yes, it does. Transportation, well, like the 1.5 is the construction, and the rest of that is, you got winter control, you've got, all the different components of that. So a lot of that is capital investment, but a lot of it is maintaining and public safety, and that's,
And we have to pay the crew.
Yeah, and we're obligated to do it to a specific standard, especially with the connecting link. So that's right. So
Anything on that slide?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Take it away, Annette.
Okay, recreation and culture is in there, and that includes our library, our arena, and all of our programming, planning and development, again, which is our building and development department. And then, the arena and the Eagle's Nest is separated out of the recreation and the culture. So that would be all of the different parks and stuff. As you know, we've got some of those play structures being installed that hopefully before the end of the summer, people will be able to use.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're installed. I know that it's, they're cordoned off with caution tape right now, but as you say, I hope that people will be able to use them before the end of the season, because it was something that we committed to as a council, and it was sort of something that was a little exciting, that didn't cost a ton of money for our ratepayers. So let's just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Was there anything on this particular slide? Brent, did you have something, or you're just swatting at flies? All right, go ahead, Annette.
Okay, so here's the expenses. So there's the arena and Eagle's Nest, planning and development, recreation and culture, environment, transportation is 50% of all of the expenses, which is good, because a lot of that again is investment in infrastructure and the safety of our residents. Protective services, of course, is also high, and again, majority is policing, and then general government at about 12% that's the average across the province. So that's good to see that we're not, top heavy. So I don't know if there's any questions on that.
The other thing I was going to say is transportation also is traditionally about 50% of the tax levy of many municipalities, and even at the County of Renfrew, it's obviously the biggest budget item, trying to keep up with our crumbling infrastructure.
Yes, I would say, looking at this, we're pretty typical. With protective services, with environment, with general government, now recreation and culture, I would say we're doing well on our investments in there. So, yeah.
That's great. Does anybody have anything for Annette on this slide? Okay.
So down to the nitty gritty, where we've got the percentage in. So the entire increase for the municipal levy, yes, is 2.84%, but 1.27% of it is being funded through new growth. So that's brand new taxation. It wasn't there last year. It's there this year. That's wonderful to see. So that means that the levy increase, just for who was there based on last year, we're looking at 1.57. And if we didn't have, like I said, the investment that we have going into Bridge Street, and different investments that we've made, we probably would have been seeing that line would have been a levy decrease of probably 1%. And then the growth would have made up the 1.27. That's probably where we would have only been at about a 0.3 increase to the levy. And that's already taking into consideration the losses in revenue and that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's, this is very responsible budget. I realize I'm prejudiced, but I've very responsible budget, and council and department heads, you know, I certainly did not come up with even half of it on my own. So, yeah.
Well, I think everybody came knowing the financial constraints that we were experiencing this particular year, especially. Thank goodness for that new growth. But I just want to reiterate for those that are watching is that our actual levy increase is 1.57%. So we came in pretty far under that 2% goal that we went into. I know one of our councillors wanted 0%. I didn't see that happening, especially due to the fact that we had to invest that 83,000. There was no bloody way we were giving back $750,000. The bridge absolutely needs to be done. And this investment by the provincial government was such a welcome thing. And in a way, I'm glad that we hadn't done our budget until we heard news of that grant, because it gave us the opportunity to include it in our budget as opposed to dipping further into reserves. So again, I think that this is a very responsible budget. I think our ratepayers should be quite pleased, considering what we're going through right now. Did anybody have anything on the levy? All right. Okay, thanks, Annette. There we go.
Okay, so now we're looking at total tax rates on 100,000, which I think most municipalities are use this chart to sort of give their residents an idea of what's going to be coming down the line. So as you can see, over the past few years, Bonnechere Valley has continued to reduce the overall tax rate, and on 100,000. Now I realize that assessments increase, so we're not trying to put that down to that's what it's going to be. But I mean, we've done all that we could do to give you the best rates that we can come up with. And still be able to provide the necessary services that you expect. So it's quite,
I think this chart is a very important one, and I'm glad that you touched on, this is what the municipality can do with the county and the province. Unfortunately, we have no control over how things are assessed. And so if your MPAC assessment stayed the same, then your taxes per 100,000 are going down, as you can see, approximately $17 or $18, which is great. But I do understand that some people's assessments do go up. MPAC is not doing the assessments they were planning on doing due to COVID. So I'm not sure when those new assessments will be done. But as it sits right now, as everybody can see, we're at $1170.99 per $100,000 of assessment, and that number was not easy to come by from the county or us. So again, thank you to everybody. Did anybody have a question on this particular slide? Tim, did you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Sorry, I just saw this.
No,
Okay.
I took a picture of my screen so I could have it for future reference, because when I look at the top, from 2006, I'm looking at a consistent drop almost straight through, right? So other than, there was a little bit of an increase in 16 and 17, but
yeah, maybe, yeah.
The increase in 17 was 60 cents.
no, but that's what I mean.
Let's focus
It's there.
on that.
It's there.
I'm just saying, Jack, if you look at our numbers for the 4 years we were on, look at the decrease there.
Yeah.
In our first term. Jack's on mute. He's not speaking to us now.
I'm not speaking to you. There you go. their
No,
first
it-
revenue.
It
Yeah.
really is. It's quite something that it continues to drop. But I think that's, being fiscally responsible and really digging into the budget. Everybody came prepared. Everybody came ready to be cut because they knew. So I'm glad you took a picture of it, Tim. I think it's pretty amazing. Okay, Annette, I think that's your last slide, correct?
It is. So I
Excellent. All right, and I got everybody back. Yay. So did anybody have anything on the budget as a whole? Well, then I would just like to say again, thank you all. I know that this was a very difficult way to do the budget this year. I know I had some challenges being in the office trying to whiteboard while you guys were all on Zoom and you couldn't see the board. I know that Annette took a photo of it for you. I hope everybody got a chance to review it, but honestly, I think we did the best that we could this year in a very difficult time in our world and a very difficult way to do budget. I want to thank Tim. Tim was the reason that he's the one that said, you go in, we won't go in. You go in and do the whiteboard. So thanks for that suggestion, Tim. It was kind of an epic fail, but at least we got stuff written down. So
I love getting credit for an epic fail. That's awesome.
it was an epic fail on my
Oh, yeah.
part.
Oh,
No,
no,
it was
I
a
think it
great
went pretty good.
suggestion. Annette and I
No,
did
it was
everything
good.
we could. We had lights on, we had lights off, we had the blinds drawn, we had open. It just was not working out for us.
Jack's got it there.
There you go. You printed it out. Boy, you're hardcore, Jack.
How else could I verify O'Connor Road?
Well, you know what I realized that I did too? If you look at the very last one, it looks wonky because that 20,000 is revenue. So it's almost, it looks like a double negative. If you look at the very last one, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? I didn't delineate that was added back into revenue. I understood it, so I figured everybody else would. Yeah, that's it. That's right there. All right, so did anybody have anything else? Our next meeting date is June 16th. And unfortunately, Annette, I know that Steve Egan wanted to have us at the Eagle's Nest. It doesn't sound like we'll be able to do that because we'll still be in an emergency. So we'll have to do his presentation by Zoom. And we have no media. Maybe the media will call. We have no closed sessions. So can I get an adjournment of our committee meeting, please? Moved by Tim. All those in favor? And we are adjourned and we will see everybody back here at 5:30. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Nobody wants to leave.
I'm just waiting for YouTube to catch up.
So, well, I can't get out of this meeting.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you're
Oh,
gone.
she's gone now. It's good having the master switch, hey, Annette?
Yeah, that's right. We can't get out. You're gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Geez, that epic fail was almost as bad as the chicken, eh? That was
Oh, man. I don't know, in these times, the emotional support that I'm going to require, you girls are tough on me. How do you ever do it there, Merv? You've been at it for a long time. Have you taken such abuse as what I have in the last week or so?
Well, sometimes if we're one-on-one, I'll tell you where you find the word sympathy in the dictionary.
I can imagine it to be in the dictionary. Okay, guys. Well, we'll see y'all at 5:30.
You bet. Bye.